and welcome to Hindustan Times Shine HR Conclave. Today we have Mr. Adil Malia,
Hi.
who is the Group President, Human Resource Acer Group. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Pleasure all mine, Geet.
Yeah, so does your organization take steps to ensure that diversity awareness percolates down to the level of employee, and in what ways?
See, Geet, let me answer a little beyond SR. In today's changing environment, no organization is doing a corporate social responsibility by pushing the agenda of diversity in its business plans. The challenge is that every business has mandated all the leaders across the world to ensure that the value and quality of its human capital goes higher and ups the value of the human capital in the enterprise. Now, if 50% of the population, for a parametric understanding, represent the women, then nobody is doing anybody a favor by saying that we want to find out ways and means to access that talent pool and bring them into our organization. Now, there are certain societal limitations, there are certain anatomical reasons, there are certain cultural reasons for years and years that our women have not gone into the workforce. But to say that they have not gone into the workforce does not limit now, with the advent of technology, for organizations to access that talent pool, and rather than depending on substandard male equivalents to be filling up the job, it would be much better for the organizations to change their programs, their sociology, their processes and practices, their best practices to ensure how we get these women who are right now not active in the work field to get into the organization, as a result of which the entire quotient of human capital in the enterprise goes up. So actually it is a requirement of business and not a social responsibility of business that you access that talent pool.
To have the diversity in an organization.
It is but necessary, because also your talent in the organization, which is creating value for you, should represent the macrocosmic sociology which is outside. So if your consumers are women, if women are the users of your products, if children are the users of your products, etc., then the macrocosmic representation of your people in the enterprise should image and reflect that what your consumer pattern is about.
Right. So in your opinion, or to enhancing your own functions in HR role, in understanding of different aspects of diversity. So how do you take it? I mean, what is your approach?
See, it's very funny. Over the period of time, earlier, it used to be the color of the skin which was the decider of whether you will be employed or not employed. Then it came, which class are you from? If you were a substandard class, or if you belong to a class which could not be employed in a higher order job, you would not be employed. So society over a period of time has been identifying some social causes, over a period of time busting those, and then as a result of which there is a social change that happens. Now it is a time where the gender differences or the gender exclusivity is getting very highlighted. And of course, over a period of time, society and corporates will find out ways and mechanisms to get over this situation. But the highest level of diversity is not gender diversity, but a thought diversity. Which means, am I able to include in my enterprise people with differing views, diatribic views, which means that I don't need in my organization people who say yes to me. It is only then that the real value of a diverse workforce come in. If genders are represented by women who will say yes to what I'm saying, then that's not diversity. Right. If it represents people from a different community who are going to say yes to what I'm saying, that's not diversity. So real diversity comes from ability to include in the decision making and the value creation process people with diverse views, and when that gets accommodated, that's the real diversity we are talking about.
Right. So how does your own identity impact your work with a diverse workforce?
Sure. So you have your own identity. Diverse workforce does not mean you lose your identity. There are ways and mechanisms in which there is a collectivity, the benefit to the collectivity, and also identification of performers who have done well as individual contributors. But that does not mean that individual contributors do not exist in a group environment or in a team environment.
Right.
Each individual also plays a role in the success of a team. It is only the question of, are you playing only that role to highlight your success, or are you collectively playing through your strength, your knowledge, your competencies, your capabilities to create a team victory? And that is very important.
All right. So, if may I ask you, have you had to handle situations where a colleague was not expecting or is ready to accept a diversified colleague scenario, where you have very different kind of people who might be physically disabled or.
Sure. In fact, let me give you a gender example. In fact, I came from Coca-Cola, which is a very, very equal opportunity employer, and everything is practically equal. You can't even imagine a different kind of a world. And then I came into engineering, hardcore engineering corporation, which deals with infrastructure and those kind of products, where they had a belief that an engineer on the shop floor had to be necessarily men. And we broke the myth, and we got the first ever woman to be engineer on the shop floor doing night shifts. And that broke the myth. So over a period of time, there are a lot of these imaginations and myths which people who work in corporates as managers pick up and start perpetuating them as their beliefs in the corporate. They give you technological reasons, they give you social reasons, they give you cultural reasons for wanting to continue that. You as a leader, if you genuinely believe in inclusiveness, and if you genuinely believe that you want to bring in diversity, you will have to learn to systematically plan and break all these myths over a period of time by hand-holding them, building the ecosystem, and then ensuring that equal protection is provided and opportunities are provided for people to grow.
Right. So my last question to you. So in what specific ways has diversity shaped your leadership, mentoring, or your style?
It gives you the full range, number one, because a balanced, collaborative, a complex environment in which we are all doing business requires a balanced, comprehensive, and collaborative organization within the system to be working with you. So number one, it gives you that balanced fullness, the balanced completeness that is required. And on the other hand, the young girls who are joining you at the bottom of the pyramid certainly want to look up and see, do I see only the man at the top, which means I don't see a hope for myself? I see the hope for my women leadership only up to a certain mid-level, and they are perceptive, so they realize that. So it is only when you start having women at the top, at the top of the pyramid, that they see a certain kind of a myth being busted that there is any glass ceiling. So the idea is to get them to mentor. So you get the senior girls or the senior women, and you teach them how to mentor the young guys, and then to create a kind of a role model environment in which this changes happen.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us.